Not backing down, President Trump keeping a potential government shutdown on the table as he works to secure more funding for the U.S.-Mexico border wall.
I'm willing to do anything. We have to protect our borders. If we don't protect our borders, our country is not going to be a country. So if it's about border security, I'm willing to do what has to be done.
Here now is Republican Congressman Jim Jordan, House Judiciary Committee member. What's your take on this? I mean, is this issue, frankly, a lot of people are surprised that it's gone so long unsolved in this administration when it was really the cornerstone. Yeah, it was probably the single biggest promise that we Republicans made the voters back in the 2016 election. We should have done it back in March when we had that crazy omnibus bill that passed. So, look, we need to just focus in on doing what we said, and this was a key thing that we told the voters we were going to do. No one wants a shutdown, but let's have this debate. Let's put it on the spending bill now. Let's not wait till the end of the month, the end of the fiscal year. Let's do it now, and let's have the debate. I think that's the best course of action, but we'll see. What are the odds that that would really happen? I don't know, Melissa. I mean, look, like I said, we should have done it back on that big omnibus spending bill. That's when we should have had the fight. Particularly after, you know, there's been one shutdown this year, and it was done by Chuck Schumer. Clear back in the early part of the year, we had a short-term funding bill that he got on a Friday afternoon, and he said he's going to shut the government down because amnesty to him was more important than funding our troops and funding the government. He quickly learned the American people didn't like that approach, and he reopened the government. We should put, though, this wall funding bill on the spending bill and send it over to the Senate and have them deal with it. Yeah. In the meantime, censoring political views, Attorney General Jeff Sessions says the Department of Justice will be looking into bias in social media, whether Facebook and Twitter were, quote, intentionally stifling some viewpoints. I mean, I know that you feel like you have been shadow banned on Twitter. How big a deal is it? No, it wasn't. We didn't feel like it. It happened. There were 435 members of the House. There were 100 members of the Senate. 535 for. Mr. Gates, Mr. Nunes, Mr. Meadows, and myself were, in fact, shadow banned. Not we saying it. Yeah. A liberal news organization said we were, in fact, shadow banned by Twitter. So it happened. Twitter's response, oh, just a glitch in our algorithm. Really? What'd you put in the algorithm? The names Meadows, Nunes, Gates, and Jordan? I mean, come on. So we know it happened. Now that it happened, we have to highlight it and make sure it doesn't happen again and move forward. We'll see what the Justice Department uncovers. So, I mean, how do you make sure it doesn't happen again? Because more government is never the answer, but, no, you know, what's the option? Yeah, and I'm not advocating that, but what I am saying is, look, if you're going to put yourself out there as a neutral social media platform, you then can't say some points of view aren't going to get the same rights and privileges and be able to be aired. You can't have it both ways. So if you're a neutral social media platform, then don't shadow ban conservatives, particularly the 4 conservatives probably most active on the FBI DOJ investigation. But if you're not a social media platform and you're a newspaper, then there are different laws that govern you. But you can't have it both ways. I'm not saying the government should come in and regulate. I'm just saying you got to be one or the other. You can't play it both ways. Yeah. I got to ask you about the unnamed, you know, whatever anonymous op-ed that we have going in the New York Times. Who do you think did it? Who knows? I mean, my big takeaway from this is it's an opinion piece. It's an op-ed. You got to sign your name to an op-ed. I mean, come on. What kind of newspaper runs an opinion piece, something on their opinion page that's anonymous? I've never heard of such a thing. So this is just ridiculous. And frankly, though, my guess, my understanding is, of course, that this person who wrote it probably should resign. I think, as Sarah Huckabee Sanders said. Do you think it's a high-ranking person, or do you think that it's someone? Because I mean, by the way that they sourced it, it could be kind of anybody. Yeah. What I do know is their name wasn't on a ballot. Yeah. And to be undermining the guy who was elected by the American people to be our president, who I think has had an amazing year and a half at leading this country, is just flat out wrong. What do you think of the idea that, you know, some are saying it's a distress call from coming inside the White House, that there is this big group of Republicans or people that seem to be on the president's side who are very distressed by what's going on? I mean, is that a legitimate group of people, or do you think that this is a call out from the establishment, or, you know, those who are entrenched in Washington and don't like someone coming in and creating chaos that threatens what they've built for themselves in order to profit and have power?
Melissa, who knows? All I know is we're 62 days away from an election, and we have a president over the last 18 months who has cut regulations, reduced taxes, 4.2% growth rate, lowest unemployment 20 years, Gorsuch on the court, Kavanaugh on deck. We're out of the Iran deal. The embassy's gone to Jerusalem, and the hostages come home from North Korea. That's a pretty darn good year and a half, and I'll match that record up against what the Democrats are campaigning on, which is they want to raise your taxes, abolish ICE, continue to socialize medicine, and impeach that president. That's the choice we face in 62 days. I'll focus on that.